Welcome back, Rankers. Had a great time on the Gold Coast last week at the Professional eBay Sellers Alliance. I know, I hear you. What do you know about eBay, Jim? Well, not a lot. Well, not since I got my account shut down 10 years ago when they don't like you bidding on your own stuff. Who knew? Anyway, great conference. It's more than just about eBay, or a lot of eBay information there. The CEO of eBay was there presenting a keynote speech and a few other things, but it's all about online retail and what's happening in the online retail market. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. But first I wanted to point out a couple of things that have been happening with Google. There's an excellent story in the Wall Street Journal today about Google's new local ad assault. One of the things that Google hasn't been able to do is they haven't been able to go and get the local fish and chip shop to advertise. They haven't been able to go and get the local haberdashery. I don't even know if they have those because I don't go to the shops. But whatever the local retail outlet is, they haven't really been able to get involved at that level because, AdWords is hard, right? So we're going to start to see a lot of changes, and I'd suggest you go and read this article, but a lot of changes in the way that Google is approaching that local ad market. And let's face it, for a lot of this local ad stuff, well, we're talking mobile device because that's where it is, I guess, the experience is more accurate than, say, on a desktop. Desktops are great. I'm using one right now. However, if for some reason my ISP is routing all my traffic out of Perth and I'm in Melbourne, Google's going to think I'm in Perth. And it happens more often than not. With mobile, it's a lot more accurate, depending on what tower you're connected to. Sure, there are boundaries, and you can move on boundary, and you can maybe move 5K that way or 5K that way, depending on what Google sees at the time, or what your telecommunications provider is providing you with, what tower. But essentially, it's a lot more accurate. So this article talks about a couple of acquisitions that Google's had in recent times. One's called TalkBin, which allows you to send anonymous texts to shop owners, so you can get angry at the shop owner or the manager or whoever, and you don't have to reveal who you are. Another one is called Punch, which is a mobile loyalty program, local loyalty program that people can subscribe to. And so there's a lot happening in that space from Google's perspective, who still are the biggest advertising platform out there. So you're going to start to see them try to focus their efforts more at that local level. Now, the sorts of things that were coming out of the Professional eBay Sellers Alliance last week, let's just call it PESA now, because that's too long to say. Things that were coming out of PESA last week was the main one, mobile, local. Be treating your mobile experience, have a mobile strategy for sure, but treat it as a whole other channel. It's not just an extension of the web anymore. I brought this case study to you, I think it was last year. But around Christmas, we did a campaign for a car dealership, right? Now, they wanted to sell 6 cars within a 2-week period over the Christmas New Year period. And so we had to develop an AdWords campaign. They didn't have a lot of money to spend. So we said, okay, let's just do this AdWords campaign to mobile devices. Let's just say, we're only going to advertise to people within that 20-kilometre radius of that dealership. They're the only people who are going to see it. And you're only going to see it if you're on a mobile phone. And guess what? We're not even going to send you to a website. It's going to be what we call a click-to-call campaign, which basically means on a smartphone, you do the search, the ad comes up, oh, there's the phone number, hello, I'd like to talk to a salesman, please. They attributed sales of 5 of the 6 vehicles directly to that AdWords campaign. But that wasn't the greatest thing. The total cost of lead acquisition, per lead acquisition, was $4 per lead. So every lead that they got, they knew it only cost them $4. Now, for a car dealership, those numbers are insane. Now, the numbers that are coming out of PESA are also just staggering. PayPal told us a couple of interesting things. They've got 4.5 million Australian users. Out of those users, 1 million of them have made a purchase on a smartphone, completed a purchase on a smartphone. That's pretty amazing. Of course, Australia's got the largest smartphone usage in the world per capita, but still, 1 million people in Australia have made a purchase on the iPhone. That blew me away. I had no idea. The other number that PayPal told us about was that 53% of people who are in a shop, in a retail outlet, like your Harvey Normans. Hi, Jerry. About to purchase a product, I'll just check that on my phone to see what sort of deal they're getting. 53% of them walk out. 53% of people that are about to buy that thing decide not to when they've checked it on their iPhone. Now, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. So have a lot of other people. And, you know, if you want to look at one of the reasons retail is suffering, there's a biggie. So, and I was talking to another retailer, he said, you know, sometimes it's not even a price differential. It could just be the thing that you've got is cumbersome that you're selling in the shop. And this is a guy who has several shops, or large stores actually. And he says, because that thing's big, cumbersome, I don't want to pick it up now, I don't want to carry it. I'll say, well, the price is the same at that other shop. Oh, but I can buy online and they deliver. Bang. I'll have it tomorrow. That's okay, I don't need it today. So it's a whole range of things that are happening, but you need to have a strategy focused around those devices. We've got one client that gets about 50% of the traffic now from iOS. And a lot of it's coming straight out of their newsletter as well. They'll do a newsletter, come out, and then the bulk of that traffic from the newsletter is from, you know, mobile devices. So you need to be across these things. One of the other interesting numbers by this guy, funny guy, John Lawson, at Colder Ice, that's his name there, follow him on Twitter. Smart guy, but hysterical. He brought out a number, said that 23% of all online purchasing now has been done on a mobile device, but it's only attracting 1% of the ad spend. That's a big opportunity. And that is it for this week's show. We'll also bring you some interviews from people that we caught up with at the show, some great presentations, fabulous one from Justine Bloom, in Bloom. Follow her on Twitter, taught us all about Pinterest. And there's some great stuff happening. So if you're in retail, if you're selling stuff online, you have to get to PESA Conference next year. And that's it for this week's show. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.